When time moves on, some people remain in memories, and some in hearts. Zayan was a boy from a small town with big dreams. Dreams of painting the world in colors only he could see. Though he studied fine arts in college, his real passion was digital illustration. He ran an art page on social media where people appreciated his work. Alina came from a different world. A fashion design student in Paris. She was always composed, stylish, and lost in her own world. Her Instagram was filled with pastel tones, graceful outfits, and minimalistic elegance. They met on an online art forum. Zayan drew a sketch of Alina from one of her photos and uploaded it without tagging her. Alina stumbled upon it through a friend and left a single comment. "You saw me better than I see myself," Zayan replied. "Maybe your soul paints louder than your style." That was the start of their conversation. Every night they talked about life, art, dreams. Zayan saw Alina not just as a muse, but his driving inspiration. Alina found a kind of softness in his sketches she never saw in her own life. But distance was always there. Language, culture, lifestyle, time zones. One day, Alina asked Zayan, "If we were in the same city, would you meet me?" Zayan laughed and said, "I've already crossed time zones just to hear your voice. So yes, I would come to meet you at..." That night they had their first video call. It lasted 3 hours, the most beautiful moment for both. Zayan sketched Alina live, and Alina showed Zayan her designs for the first time. But after every beautiful moment, silence tends to follow. Alina became busy. Her projects, fashion weeks, internships, calls became rare. Messages less frequent. Zayan thought, "And maybe her world is changing. And maybe I'm no longer a part of it." He tried to record a voice note. "I know you're busy. And maybe I'm no longer a part of your world. But every time life gives me a choice, I still choose you. Maybe this time, I need to choose myself." But he didn't send it. He just listened. And deleted it. When Rita saw Saad again at the airport, time seemed to freeze. 3 years of distance vanished in a matter of moments, but alongside the joy, on her face was a trace of pain, as if an old wound had been touched again. "Why are you back, Saad?" she asked in a cold tone. With a soft smile, he said, "Maybe because my heart never stopped believing that you were waiting for me." Rita tried to hold back the tears in her eyes. "I spent my whole life waiting. Saad, every time the phone rang, I hoped it was your voice. But all you sent was silence." Saad lowered his gaze and said, "I was weak, Rita. But not anymore." Flashback. When Saad won the scholarship, Rita was the first to encourage him. "You can conquer the world, Saad. I'm with you," she had said. But distance not only grew between cities, it created a silence between their hearts. One day, Rita messaged, "Just say once that you'll come back." "I will wait." Saad never replied. Present. It was raining outside the airport. Rita turned her face away, but Saad held her hand. "What's the point of winning everything without you, Rita? I won every moment that didn't have you in it, but I was never happy." Rita sighed. "Waiting for someone is a kind of worship, Saad, but every worship needs sincerity. Your silence broke me." With tears in his eyes, Saad said, "I came back because I've always chosen you. In every decision, every prayer." She looked into his eyes. "I need time, Saad. Trust once broken is not easy to rebuild. Saad nodded. I'm ready to accept whatever you decide. Just give me one chance to make it right. There were tears in Rima's eyes, but they no longer spoke of weakness. They reflected strength, the kind only pain could teach. After Armin's departure, Rima found a new light within herself. Grief hadn't broken her. It had sculpted her. She wrote in her diary every day, capturing dreams that still waited for her. She had started a job and stood on her own 2 feet. But in a quiet corner of her heart, Armin's memory still echoed like an unfinished song. One day, while walking home from the office, she heard something, a familiar tune Armin used to hum. She turned. There he was, Armin. His face looked worn, but his eyes held remorse. He said, I lost Rima by leaving you. But you won, you found yourself. Rima calmly replied, Time teaches everything. Armin, but some people leave before it can. She walked away, but this time her steps were steady. When time moves on, some people remain in memories, and some in hearts. The light stayed on late into the night. A soft rain whispered against the windows, and beyond the glass Zoya sat quietly, her eyes lost in thought. In her hands was the same old voice recorder she once used to send messages to Ayan. If only I could say everything today that I couldn't say back then, Zoya whispered to herself. That night Ayan had called, for the last time. Zoya, I'm leaving tomorrow, maybe forever. But there's something I want to say, one last time. Zoya's heartbeat grew louder. She knew, if she didn't speak now, she may never get the chance again. Ayan's voice was cracked, broken, like something inside him was falling apart. Can we start again? Zoya answered softly. Love isn't something you restart. And it either stays forever or ends completely. Then where did your love go? It didn't go anywhere. It just fell silent. Exactly 1 year ago, on this very date, Zoya and Ayan had written a letter together, titled, If We Ever Drift Apart. In that letter, Zoya had written, I want you to stay happy, even if it's without me. And Ayan had replied, In happiness, I'll search for you. In loneliness, I'll remember you. Zoya pulled out that old letter once again. The words now carried a different meaning. Ayan stood at the airport, boarding pass in hand, heart full of incomplete dreams. Suddenly a voice called out, Ayan! He turned. It was Zoya. The air froze. Time stood still. You're leaving. Without even hugging me goodbye? Ayan stepped forward silently. Zoya took his hand. Love doesn't end, Ayan. It hides, it gets tired, but it never dies. Then what about us? Zoya nodded. We won't restart. We'll begin from the very moment where love had paused. Zoya and Ayan were now living a new life. They still wrote letters to each other, just like they did before their separation. Every word held hope. Every line carried love. Life had tested them, broken them, but love had healed and reunited them. A new place, a new city, rain falling again. Zoya and Ayan stood beneath one umbrella. Did you ever imagine we'd make it here? Ayan asked. Zoya smiled gently. Never. But my heart always believed. They held hands, stepping into a future without fear.